we are live. Let's see if we can get a bit more ceiling in on the camera. Hello, friends. How's it going? I'm doing fine. For those of you who are watching, thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate that. And it's good to have you back on the channel. It seems like sound's working just fine, which is great, which means that we are going to get started with today's stream. It is 5:19 a.m. And it is Saturday morning, and we're going to do some mobility and some core with the kettlebell. I'm going to set up the timer and we're going to get going. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours a night. Yesterday I fell slightly short. 6 hours and 50 minutes according to my watch. I'd say that's still okay, but I know from experience that hitting that 7.5 hour mark is the most important. Because if I hit that, I feel rested throughout the day. Beyond that, I mind what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, which is around 2,200 calories, because the goal is weight maintenance for me here. I eat lots of greens, lots of vegetables, because I think they're an important part of my overall health in terms of nutrition and energy for the day. And I try to maintain my strength and muscle growth by eating sufficient but not too much protein. So a while back I was actually all the way up to 150 grams. I'm now trying to work with anything between 70 and 100 grams to see where that will lead me, because I've read some things about protein and long-term health impacts, and more is good for muscle growth but might not be as good for my long-term health, which is why I'm doing all of these things anyway. So that is worth considering and keeping in mind. For me, I show up for strength training, I show up for conditioning training, show up for strength conditioning training, for HIIT training, for steady states, low intensity training, for mobility training, which is what we're going to do today. I generally try to spend time with people I love and care about. It's a priority for me. I try to do things that I enjoy, and I generally try to live a stress-free life. I also am visiting a physiotherapist to fix my right shoulder, because we're trying to see if we can improve the range of motion there. So expect some adventures on a Swiss ball once it arrives, because I have several exercises that I need to go through as a part of my mobility routine. So there we have it. All right, and that being said, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I know it's 5:20 a.m. where I'm at. It might be a bit earlier or later, depending on where you're at in the world. But I think it's important to understand why I'm doing this. And here's the context, right? It's very clear that we are collectively getting older as a society, meaning that medical advances, societal advances are keeping us alive for longer. And that's generally a good thing, were it not that, first of all, the final years that we've added to life are not spent in good health. That is worrisome. And second of all, seeing several trends in society that make it more likely for me to get unhealthy as I age rather than getting healthy. The amount of people with excess weight is steadily increasing. The number of people developing diseases like diabetes and other kind of cardiovascular disease is increasing, or are leading causes of death. And my understanding, a large part of the detrimental um, health outcomes are preventable through different lifestyle choices, which I am trying to make very consciously in terms of what I sleep, how I eat, how I move, how I connect, and how I entertain myself. My take on it is that maybe if I am smart about it, I can stay healthier and fitter for longer. Who knows, maybe even up to 100. The second thing is that I have 2 kids, and I would like to set a good example for those children. I would like to see them, I would like them to see, for them to see what a healthy adult looks like and what it actually means for an adult to be active, to stay fit, to sleep well, to eat well, to move sufficiently, to have friends, to have hobbies, so that they can role model what I think are good behaviors for short-term and long-term health, but generally for life. Plus, I would like to be able to play with them, whether they're on the floor or climbing a tree. I think it is just important to have that range of motion, strength, and capacity to do those kinds of things. And that leads me to at least a 30-minute workout every day, which is a more intense workout the one day, a recovery day with mobility the next, and generally going out for walks, steady state cardio, low intensity, not very fast paced, and doing several other things to keep myself healthy and fit. But right now it is 5:25 a.m. and it's time for us to get started with our mobility session. So let's go, because the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and actually doing the work, which is what we're going to do this morning. So that's how I'm doing this morning. Maybe you want to let me know in chat how you're doing this morning. I know, it's Saturday morning. And that means that for you, likely it is Saturday night and Friday night, and you are getting ready to go out or recovering from a busy week, or whatever it is. I hope that you are doing well, and when you drop by, go ahead and say hello in chat, answer the poll, and we can continue the conversation about health and fitness. I can notice that it is definitely hay fever season, so I will try not to sneeze into the microphone. This morning, outside of sleeping pattern, I think it's been a good week for my general health and fitness. So we can say with some certainty that working out, moving every day is generally keeping us fit and healthy based on my experience, but that having sufficient sleep, let's see, do you, right, so if I stand all the way on the back of the mat, closer to the wall, you don't lose my hands. But we can say that not sleeping sufficiently has a detrimental impact on recovery and energy. I have just not been able to focus as well as I usually would be able to. And I think hitting that 7.5 to 8 hour mark in terms of sleep is going to be key in regaining that. And that simply means being in bed on time. And we need to work towards that. And there are different challenges, obviously, in getting to bed on time, but predominantly right now it is about taking charge of the evening schedule. And trying to figure out how we can make the most out of those 2.5 odd hours between 6 and 8:30, because between 8:30 and 9 we need to be in bed, have the kids in bed, and we need to have had dinner, etc., etc. I see a message on chat. Duh, good morning. When I run an ab workout. Nice. Very good. So that means you're done for the day and ready to grab a good night's sleep, I hope. Or is it for you the start of the day as well, just like it is for me? And I think that's a very nice way to either start or end the day. And thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. My back is getting better and better. There are still little things and little moments where I think, we can see that we are still recovering. The physiotherapist explained to me that those are minor imbalances in the back from the recovery or from the injury that need to sort themselves out, which just can take, 3 to 6 months even if you're not careful. And that is simply what it is. So taking it easy, but slowly but steadily working with the weights, with the 8 kilos, and we will slowly but steadily actually get better. There's no reason to believe that a year from now this injury will still be haunting me, and I guess we can say that overall we are going to stay fit and stay healthy over time. If we keep showing up and doing the work. So what's your weekend going to look like? Mine, we have a little party today. It's a small family celebration, which is going to be nice. And besides that, it is a regular weekend, and if the weather is nice, we need to figure out where we're going to spend the time outdoors tomorrow. But that we will figure out with time. I do know that I will be going for a walk after this mobility session and after we record the podcast. And obviously, we'll be going for the Sunday morning run tomorrow. And the podcast on Sunday, I think, I'm going to do a reflection on the 4 quadrants of life that I find important. So we're going to talk about health and how we break that down, because we haven't done that for a while actually. I'm going to talk about relationships and how we break that down. I'm going to talk about finances, some of the cornerstones of general health, fitness. And we're going to talk about pursuits. And you see that in those 4 quadrants that I'm mindful of, the themes of sleep, food, movement, connection, and mastery are already naturally present. Abusees, thanks for dropping by. Great to hear. Thanks. I hope so too. And Abusees, have a good day. 8:35 in Los Angeles. Push workout, Sunday pull workout. Very nice. Thank you. Oh, that's cool. Hey, I think that's great. I think if that keeps you motivated, and if you can help and inspire some other people through your efforts, I think that's a great way to spend some of your time. I'm creating a health and fitness channel, and Abusees, that means you've got a fun evening ahead of you. I hope everything's all right over in LA. Everything's fine here in Amsterdam. Right, so reflecting on where we stand in those 4 quadrants, and I think actually bringing back just a weekly moment of touching in depth on one of them, whether it's health or connection, finances or pursuits, is important to keep ourselves honest and on track, because we already do a daily check-in in general by showing up and doing the work. I think we can do a bit more by actually having a slightly more in-depth review of where we stand in terms of those 4 quadrants every week. And I think the podcast offers a great opportunity to actually walk through them at a high level and then break them down into some specifics, and bringing it back to the 5 little habits that we focus on throughout the week, and which of those habits we can actually have stick over time. Maybe you want to let me know if you've tried to adopt any of those small habits that I've been talking about. So whether you've been trying to add that glass of water right out of bed or before breakfast, whether you've been adding those snacks, tomato snacks, to the routine, instead of, or in place of any of the other things you might find yourself regularly snacking on, or in addition to that glass of water before a meal, whether you've been able to actually take the stairs more frequently in light of the benefits that preferring stairs over elevators can confer for life. Whether you've been able to set a daily wake-up time and have been able to stick to it, whether you've made a point out of connecting with one friend at least, because I did that this week, and I've spoken to 2 and texted with 1 to agree to actually catch up. So simply by reaching out, we're already strengthening those relationships. I think it's not unimportant, and good to keep in mind that and so maybe you have been doing any of those 5 things this week, and let me know how they are playing out and paying off for you. And I'm just going to go over to the monitor and read your messages. And a question I also have is whether or not we appreciate the horizontal stream right now. Let's see. Would be people? Yeah, there you go. Refreshing. Yeah, no, definitely. I think rehydration. And well, first, let's address your first point. Is exactly right, which is also why I do what I do. Is I don't think I know that much about health and fitness, but I've been on this journey for a while, and I think it's just worthwhile to share my experience with other people, to connect with people who are trying to accomplish the same thing. Because, to be honest, sometimes it's a bit lonely here in the kitchen early in the morning. So it's nice to know that people are around, watching, saying hi, working on the same things. And if you do have a lot of knowledge and experience, it's worth sharing. There are always people who want to learn, listen, talk about new things. So it's a great way to connect with people and to help them out. The thing about water is indeed hydration, right? As far as I know. And apparently drinking a glass of water 30 minutes before any meal, which is why I think it's such a useful exercise to engage in. Drinking a glass of water before a meal actually will help you eat fewer calories. So simply by adding that glass of water and that snack of tomatoes and cucumbers, in that hour, 30 minutes before you sit down to eat, is going to help manage the control of the overall energy balance in a day. So I think that's also worthwhile, worth noting, and important to keep in mind. And if we exercise, or are leading an active life, having slightly more hydration throughout the day is not necessarily a bad thing. It's so nice that summer is here, because it is nearing 6 and it is dawn, and I think this trend is going to progress over the next month towards the longest day. Right? We're going to get closer to 5 a.m. that we're going to actually have sunrise, and that means I might also go out on the weekends for a couple of weeks and actually stream and do the workout from outdoors. So that's going to be fun. And this summer I'll have a 4-week surprise for you regarding where we'll be streaming and working out from, if everything goes well. And the final exercise for mobility. Oh. Oh, all right. Now, let's move on to some light core. Nothing special. I don't have any water very much. Yeah, I also prefer water over other things, actually. Interesting. Um, that I didn't know. It's an interesting insight. And thanks for sharing and letting me know. So another good reason to stay hydrated and to drink sufficient water, right? So is it that you're like me, just interested in health and fitness and have been doing this for a while, or are you like a personal trainer? Or do you work like in the health and fitness industry or in healthcare that you are knowledgeable about health and fitness and specifically physical training or fitness in general? Oh, it's really bright outside. It's nice. I feel like it's way later than 6 a.m., but we haven't even hit 6 yet. Everybody's favorite side plank. My favorite exercise, walking around the perimeter of this mat with a weight which is no substitute for a loaded carry, which reminds me that I need to order that weighted vest for my morning walks, because we need to remember that if we walk with the extra weight, we are working a little bit harder. So I could also go rucking and load up a backpack, but I think I would be more comfortable with a weighted vest for those low intensity, steady state walks that I'm planning to do. Regular plank, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up. And then we're going to do the drag across, and we're going to be done for today. I believe in a strong core. Don't need to have a six-pack. On my own. I go about 12 years. I 100% agree. The dark months for me as well. I do try to go out and run in the dark. It's not allowed. I don't think it's that safe to be running in the forest. But it's worth noticing and noting that finding a modality to work out in that we do appreciate and enjoy here, 5:56 a.m. Regardless of the weather, because the end goal is maintaining that physical activity, right? Regardless of what we do. So if we can do things that we enjoy less but still enjoy, that fit our circumstances, we're winning this game. And 12 years of experience in working out, I think. Probably have tried a lot of different things, probably have learned a lot of different things, and in that there are lessons and insights there for all of us to take from. So let me know when you start your channel. I'll be sure to check it out, all right? Friends, thanks for dropping by, for saying hi. I hope you're doing well. Help me out, hit like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share the channel with a friend if you know anyone in their 30s, 40s, 50s, trying to get fit and healthy. I'd be more than happy to have them chat with me here on chat, and maybe they can learn something from my experience. I can learn something from their experience as well. Remember that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today. It's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. So a bit of kindness is going to go a long way. And there are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we'll lift ourselves up, all right? Remember, friends, the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. Take care. And don't forget to join me on the podcast in a few minutes and subscribe.